All right, welcome back to It's Time Picks. We somehow again missed last week because we got busy because we have lives. Sorry. We are back for this week. We have Emmett and Topuria on tap, and this is the Jacksonville card. The fights start early, so let's jump right into it. First fight we have up is Cody Brundage and Cedric Dumas. And Dumas fought like a dumbass in his first fight against Josh Fremd. Now he's getting a partner of Josh Fremd. And Joey, you already know how I feel about this fight. I fully expect Brundage to just take him down over and over and over again and just control him because that's all that he's going to need to do. Dumas does have a path if he can keep it on the feet, but he'll still have to be really careful because Brundage has a shit ton of power. But until he shows me something else, I'm going to go against him. So I'm all Brundage.
Okay, I don't hate that. I know. I think Dumas' original opponent was Pulahene Soriano,
Yep.
which I don't understand why Dumas took that fight in the first place. But now it's a step down from Pule, but it's still an upgrade over Frem a little bit in some parts. Frem. I don't want to talk about that fight too much, but Frem pretty much did whatever the hell he wanted. I thought he was going to go in there maybe make entertaining striking, but he just ragdolled him, to which Frem doesn't have the best wrestling, and that wasn't a good look. Now with Brunage taking this fight on shorter notice, one thing I think he's going to do, he's going to have to wrestle early and try to make it a somewhat boring fight. He can't let Dumas get up because there's going to be opportunities where, like I said, Dumas is the better striker with better power, but Brunage does have his own power. Better striking, yes. More power. Dumas does have power from what I've seen, like outside the UFC, but until I see it in the UFC, I do agree. But Dumas is in his home state of Florida, so maybe. And he tried to come out in interviews saying that he had a lot in his mind the first fight, blah blah blah. That's on you. You brought it into the fight with you, and you pretty much got absolutely demolished by Frem, which I absolutely shitted on Frem, and he's a Philly guy. But to cut it short, if Brunage wins this fight, one thing that scares me, his fight IQ. Like when he was absolutely beating that Vieira his last fight, and what he decided to do, he decided to leave his neck, and he got that shit snatched. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
expecting Dumas to win by submission, but if he's gonna do anything, if Brunage doesn't say, you know what, I can go in there and try to strike with him, there's a good portion that he's gonna get knocked the hell out eventually. But I'm slightly on Brunage, but this fight, I have a feeling you might have to play it on DraftKings a little bit. But if you're going towards value, Dumas does have value if he gets the knockout early. Brunage, could he maybe get a sub? Maybe. You don't think Brunage would sub Dumas?
Nah, he could, but Dumas isn't a terrible grappler, so I don't expect that at all.
But yeah, I'm on Brunage for now. I think Brunage could get a finish, especially if he keeps going on the ground. But even if he decides to go to decision, let's say he racks up between like five to six takedowns, decision control, that was probably still a good, decent payout at 8-7.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel comfortable rostering him at 8-7. I wish his fight was more like 83 to 78, but this might be a decent fight to target.
I agree. So both of us going with Brundage, but I do agree Dumas does have his outs in this. It's just really hard to trust him after that first fight. Next up, we've got Tatsuro Taira and Clayton Rodriguez, and I'm absolutely letting you go first on this one.
So, they're both good prospects. I'm actually shocked this fight's actually lined up right now. Tara, he had a pretty much easy run in the UFC. He got some, I wouldn't say trash cans, but they pretty much got less superior talent. But he's a good grappler. His takedowns kind of suck. They don't have the best takedowns at all, unless he just body locks you and gets you down off trips. His striking's decent, but he's more patient. He's more bouncy. Just okay, I don't want to get touched. I want to be clean. I think he might be scared to get hit personally. But Rodriguez, he's also well rounded. He absolutely pieced up his last fight, dominated round one, TKO the guy. The only thing that does scare me about this fight is If he does get taken down, I've seen him off his back. I don't want to say fish off his back, but if Tyra gets him flat, there's a good chance that he's going to get his fight done by sub. If Rodriguez can keep it on the feet and make it like a dirty brawl, I think he can stuff Tyra's takedowns. I think the only way he does slip up if Tyra just jumps back and goes guillotine. But I think the line's terribly off. I'm trying to get to the pick. On Clayson Rodriguez because I think he can stop takedowns. But I know the UFC's trying to build up Tyra the right way. Would it shock me if Tyra does jump back early? Guillotine? No. But if he can't get this fight to the ground, I think he's in a world of shit. Because I think he's honestly scared to get hit. And what Clayton's going to do, he doesn't care. He's going to brawl in and out, throw wide looping shots. And he's the first striker. He goes head, body, goes to the kicks. I think there's a good chance if he stops takedowns, Rodriguez is going to knock him out.
Well, I wasn't sure where you were leaning. You already know that I'm leaning.
Yeah.
Oh, I already went with him. I went Clayton Rodriguez. There's a lot of reasons I did. Tatsuro Taira has been very, very impressive in his wins, but the way that he kind of stands tall until he shoots, and I worry about that because Clayton is dangerous, and if he does that while Clayton pressures forward, we might be looking at another first round knockout. That's kind of what I'm banking on.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the longer the fight goes, it favors Tyra because of his grappling and his cardio. Uh, but I mean, Rodriguez definitely has the striking, and he's got a lot more volume. So this fight, like you said, the odds should be way closer. I
Oh, yeah.
saw this and I immediately I had a what the
Like,
fuck.
I understand why Tyra's the favorite. I understand that questionably. Tyra did what he wanted to CJ Vergara. Even though I didn't give Vergara that fight against Rodriguez, I thought Rodriguez won.
Oh, absolutely.
But CJ did have his success, but I'm going with more upside. Like I said, is this my 10 out of 10 pick? Absolutely the hell not. But I mainly go off styles makes fights. Then I look at pricings. I look at odds afterwards. And I'm like, okay, as soon as I saw this, only thing I'll say is do not put Tyra in parlays for the love of God. I know people are saying, oh, he's automatic. Don't do it. I'm telling you, if you tell me you decide to make like a 3 or 4 leg parlay and you throw Tyra, in some of these matchups that depending on who you put in parlays, he is one of the most scariest ones I think that could lose.
All right. Well, both of us on Clayton Rodriguez. Next up, we have Jamal Emmers and Jack Jenkins. And after I watched some tape and I did some more research, my pick actually flipped. The majority of people are actually on Jack Jenkins. And when I went back and watched that fight, it wasn't his home country. He did have the crowd behind him, and there was times where he struggled in that fight. He did look really good. There's no doubt about it. His debut was really good, but now he gets actually quite a large step up in competition. And Jamal Emmers is actually he has a really high fight IQ. So I switched over to Emmers. I just think Emmers hasn't beat anywhere this goes, and I'm not sure how Jenkins is going to survive this fight with the exception of his kicks. If Jenkins gets his kicks going, the fight's going to end real fast because they're ridiculous. I fully expect him to do that, but I would imagine that Emmers and his corner have been training for that and planning for that. So I'm on Emmers ever so slightly.
Okay, so I've always been a guy that backed up Emmers usually. I even did it against my boy Pat, and I thought he was gonna knock Pat the hell out, and then the IQ got to him. But I'm also on Emmers. I think Emmers is more well-rounded everywhere. I think Jenkins is more the better, pure striker, good kickboxing. As you said, he kicks like a damn mule. From what I've seen outside the UFC, Emmers is gonna have to definitely check him or shoot takedowns when he gets it to him because you saw in his last fight where he beat that undefeated prospect, he wasn't checking kicks, but Emmers was still using his range. I think Emmers definitely have to check kicks, get in and out striking going, and I don't know about me targeting this fight too much, but I am on Emmers just to win a decision.
Well, Yeah, it's gonna be a really close fight. It really could go either way, and it's hard to gauge where it is, where it's gonna be DFS wise. It's probably one I'm gonna fade. Um, but man, I'm telling you right now, if we see Jenkins connect with a kick, Emmerich is gonna break a bone.
Oh yeah.
Jenkins has some nasty ass kicks. Next up, we have one of my absolute favorite fights on the card, and you fucked up last time with this. You're not doing it again. I'm not gonna let you. We have Trevor Peak and Chepe Marisco. Trevor Peak all day. I don't know. I don't understand this fight. I don't understand why people are on Marisco at all. He has dangerous parts of his game, but Peak is just absolutely ridiculous with his forward pressure, and I don't know how. I really don't see how he loses this fight. Um, I think it's easily going to be another 105, 110 plus point for DFS, and he's only 8,200, I believe.
Hmm.
So he's probably going to be one of the highest owned in all
Oh yeah.
contests. But I think he's a must play. I don't think he's somebody you can skip. I'm Peak all day.
This is one fight I said all in. I circled both names for all in because from what I've seen from Marcel, he is well rounded. He does have the judo, he has wrestling, jiu-jitsu, decent striking. But the one thing that I was thinking, I was actually thinking about, man, do I go against Trevor Peak again? And I was like, okay, I was seeing, okay, he's Trevor Peak. We don't know his full game. He's still at a small camp out of Tennessee. Maybe not the best bodies. We don't even know if he can wrestle too much. So he did get taken down a couple times, but he got right back up. Well, I gotta go with young Trevor Peak here out of Tennessee because look,
Mm-hmm.
he got my respect after he knocked the living hell out of old boy. But
I told you he was going to. You didn't want to listen.
and look, he sounds like the nicest man, but I think he might go in there like Rock'em Sock'em Robot and knock that
He
mother.
is. He's an incredibly nice dude. It's like
Yeah,
completely
he
two
looks
completely
like
different
yes, he had a weird
personalities.
past. He had a weird past. He was in jail, but he's the nicest, chillest dude from what I heard.
Yep.
My cousin actually met him when he went to get some stuff, but he said he legit talks like this and nice, calm. And he's like, I'm trying to fight every month if I can. I want to throw hands. I'm like, oh, okay. I like him. So, yeah, I think Trevor Peaks and absolutely flatline this guy.
Yep. I completely agree. So both of
Because
us
Marcel
there's some
does come out with a wild brawl times, and from what I've seen, when he gets cracked, he stumbles hard.
absolutely both of us going with Trevor Peak. Next up, we've got Shalgar Shumagilov and Joshua Van. And I actually, after I did a little bit of a deep dive, Van actually is a relatively good fighter. I'm actually kind of glad that he's getting this shot. I wish he had a full fight camp, and I wish it wasn't against Zumagulov. Um, I do think I do have Zumagulov. I do think that he wins, but he has also been screwed by judges quite a bit. So I mean, anything close, he may go against him again. His last two, I had Zumagulov winning, and
Mm-hmm.
it went against him both times. Van is an exciting prospect. This might be a step up too soon, but we'll see. I think Zumagulov just comes in and kind of ragdolls him a little bit, though.
I'm also on August. I do feel bad because he got screwed in two splits where I actually went back today and rewatched. I was like, damn, that's kind of foul. But Joshua Van, as you said, he looks like a good prospect, decent, good striking, decent BJ. His takedown defense, he's worked on, but he's 21 years old. That's gonna grow in time, especially if he goes to a better camp. But yeah, I think Zalgis is gonna just pressure the kid against the cage, be the bully, show him there's a difference between boy strength and man strength. And I think he's probably gonna hope, man, I might need a finish because I don't trust these damn judges no more. But
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be the case, and it
but
could definitely be.
yep, I
We'll
like
see.
Zalgis.
All right, both of us going with Zumagulov. All right, next up we got Tabitha Baby Shark Ichi and Jillian Robertson. Where you at?
Oh, you just missed the whole baby shark dance. But
No, I saw it.
I think two ways this fight could go. I know the odds are close as hell. Either one's gonna dominate with their grappling, or how people say styles make fights. If neither one want to really go near the grappling,
Oh, that
this
won't
could be.
happen.
I don't think it happened either. I think it's gonna be an exciting fight.
This isn't Thug Rose and Esparza.
I sure hope not. But like I said, Jillian's actually going down. She's fighting back at 115. She doesn't usually lose when she's the bigger opponent where she can be the bully.
She's bigger,
But
but she's not stronger.
yes, exactly. I'm going with the baby shark.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think the only thing I do worry about is if especially they don't get takedowns early. I think eventually it's gonna happen because I think Jillian off her back, if she gets taken down, she's gonna accept the bottom. Think, okay, test my Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but I usually go with the better pure wrestler over jiu-jitsu if they
Yep,
know how for hand positioning and control, which I think that's
absolutely.
what Richie's gonna do. I don't know if Richie gets like 4, 5, 6 takedowns, but I think it's gonna be battle to an extent. Like she might get between 1 to 3, and then this is gonna be a control fest. Because if she leaves one little mistake, Jillian is gonna snatch up a limb.
Correct. Yep, nope, I agree. That's kind of what I wrote in my article. I basically said Tabitha by decision or Jillian by submission. I
Yep.
don't think that Robertson is going to get submitted in this fight. I think it's going to be takedown and then just all strength.
Right.
But she does need to be careful. She has never been submitted, so I mean, she does have good. She's got good BJJ. She's definitely an excellent wrestler. We saw what she did with Penne when that was in the other show when I said
Yep.
that she'd get a submission in that. I killed that. I don't think she gets a submission in this one, but I do think she wins. Yeah, I think she's got all the advantages, but grappling in this fight, I think that's pretty much 50-50. So
I agree.
definitely going with Baby Shark.
Baby shark.
Next up, we have an extremely fun fight on our hands. We got Matus Rebecki and Loic Radzhabov. I'm on Rebecki all day. I think this is going to be a massive step up for Radzhabov. Radzhabov had a really good debut, but it was against a lower level fighter. He did look good in it. He had 11 takedowns. He controlled. He did everything right. But man, Rebecki is just disgusting. And his game is solid. He can wrestle. He can grapple, and he's got some ridiculous power. So I think Radzhabov's got a lot coming to him, and I think Rebecki's going to be another one that's extremely high owned in DFS because he's probably going to score well over 100.
So the only thing that scares me about this fight, which I'm gonna knock on wood, hopefully I don't hit my head on it, is I hope to God this fight's not gonna be the repeat of Ronnie Lawrence and Argueta. Think
Yeah,
about it, they're both good wrestlers. I think, credential wise, I think Razumov is the more credential, but Rebecki's just that tank of a man where you're not just gonna take him down. But I'm on Rebecki. I think he's the better striker. I've seen outside of UFC, Radovov does tend to get cracked at times when he leaves his chin open. But I'm gonna be all over Rebecki in this fight. Originally, I was trying to find a way to fade Rebecki. So I'm like, look, all that wild looping strikes, he's gonna run into a wrestler, a grappler. I don't think this is the fight is gonna happen, but I like
no,
Rebecki a lot.
Rebecki's got grappling in his back pocket, so I'm really not worried about it because Radzhabov's not much of a submission threat. So I think this is Rebecki all day.
A finish, I don't know. Depending, this gonna be close. Either Rebecki just goes full Shane Carwin and finishes the guy, or I don't know.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, Radzhabov's never been finished, but there's no better time for Rebecki. So
Oh yeah.
both of us on Matus, and next up we have probably what's going to be a very boring fight in Randy Brown and Wellington Turman. Um, who you got, Joey?
So Wellington Turman's finally making his way down to 170 pounds, which I thought he should have been a long time ago. Um, I'm on Randy Brown in this fight. Like nothing against Wellington. Yes, he's looking slightly better now, coming to America and training with Glover and Alex Pereira, but he was already chinny at 185. Cutting a little bit more extra weight could leave his chin exposed, but Randy Brown, it depends on which Randy Brown you get on a good day. If you get the aggressive Randy Brown that he fought, even though he lost, but fought very well against Nico Price, Randy Brown should be able to knock out Wellington Turman within the first round. But you don't know which Randy Brown you're going to get. But ideally, Randy Brown has good takedown defense. He's the longer, cleaner striker. I think Randy Brown wins, but at 9,300, could he pay that off if he fights right? If he goes out like he did with Nico and says, "Look, Wellington Turman got no chin. I can get him out in round one." He'll score over 100 and something points. Am I expecting that? No. Because Randy Brown's, I'll give him credit. He's more patient until he finds his rhythm. So I'm on Randy Brown. But if you think well and determined coming down to 170, and Randy Brown has been sub twice, if you think well and determined could big brother, which he's not a big brother because he's shorter, but pretty much big brother muscle wise and take down Brown, that's the only way Wellington wins. He's not going to win a striking match, not a decision match. He's going to have to try to jump back and sub Randy Brown. But I think Randy Brown's is going to win a point decision.
Yeah, that's what I wrote in my article. I basically said that the only way Turman wins this fight is if he gets it to the mat and he keeps Brown controlled, because Brown's going to have a huge advantage on the feet. And Brown's takedown defense is rather good, so I just don't see it happening. I have Randy Brown. I just think it's going to be a lower scoring decision.
I agree.
So both of us on Randy Brown. Next up, my pick flipped on this one.
Ooh.
Neil Magny versus Phil Rowe. And it flipped because there's a few reasons. Magny is obviously getting a little weathered. He's now 35. He's taking a shit ton of damage. That fight with Burns was just
Embarrassing.
really, yes, it was not good. I mean, the fight before that with D-Rod was pretty good, but D-Rod kind of has lost himself. He's got to find himself again. But coming to this fight, Phil Rowe, he's got 10 wins, he's got 10 finishes, and he just finds ways to win. And if Magny cannot get this to the mat where he can control, Phil Rowe is probably going to knock him out. And that was kind of where I said, all right, yep, I'm just gonna. I went against him last time. I'm not gonna make that mistake again. Plus, Phil Rowe you played the whole hometown thing earlier. He's from Jacksonville. This is his hometown. He's gonna get the win.
So, usually for the most part, I tend to back up Neil Magny. I've been a fan of him for years, and that's never going to change. But Phil Rowe, he's like I said, he finds ways to win. I've been picking him his last few fights, and he hasn't let me down. The Phil Rowe train's looking good. Like I said, he is from the Florida area. I think he's I hate to say it, but I think he's going to TKO Magny within the first 2 rounds. Because Magny just try to bounce. Them baby-ass jabs. Guard's been going down lately. And don't forget, Phil Rowe has his own jiu-jitsu. I don't think he has the better takedowns than Magny, because Magny's takedown defense as a whole is fine, except against Burns, that one exception. But I think Phil Rowe can mix it up. I think maybe Phil Rowe could jump back, which I'll maybe see if he maybe rocks Magny, then jumps it. But I'm going with the more hungrier guy right now. Like Magny, don't get me wrong, he's been winning, he's breaking records, but I want to see some fresh blood up in the top 15. Like Magny's in the top 15. I think with this win, it could get Rowe damn close. It would be his 4th straight win. And like I said, he's a good prospect. He's an entertaining guy, 100% finish rate. He doesn't quit. He fights for your money. You're probably shocked. I'm going Rowe.
I'm a little bit shocked. Magny is a bit of a gatekeeper. I think that's where he's going to kind of sit for a while. So this might vault him into the top 15. We'll see. It'll be really close. Top 20 for sure. Mm-hmm. So both of us on Phil Rowe. And next up, my pick also flipped for this one, only slightly. There's a reason for it. Brandon Allen and Bruno Silva. I'll let you take this one first, because I'm curious to see what you're going to say.
So this is what I always say about every Brandon Allen fight. Which Brandon Allen are you going to get? If he decides, oh, you know what? I'm going to keep trying to rely on my striking, Bruno is going to knock him to another century.
Yep.
But if he come out like he did against Munoz, mixing it up, going for takedowns, Bruno don't have the best takedown defense. So if you're going to win this fight, you take him down. Yep. His submission defense is terrible. And if Brandon Allen wants to make it quick and continue his rise, you do what you got to do. Take him down. Don't entertain striking. But like I said, his fight IQ, it does scare the living fuck out of me.
Yep.
I was almost on one side earlier, and then I was watching more fights, and it kind of scared me. I'm going with the momentum of Brandon Allen. And it's only to the point, like I said, I was all over Tavares against Silva. And I know you picked Silva that fight. Good Christ. Like, that was holy shit. But I just think Brandon Allen's going to try to be smart. He's keeping a rhythm. He wants to continue to rise. I know he's finally in the top 15. So he wants to continue his rise, get closer to top 10 opponent. I think Brandon Allen's going to get the fight, get the takedown, and won't be short until he finds a sub.
Yep. And ultimately, yeah, so I mean that's exactly what it is. That's what I told you at the beginning of the week.
Yep.
In a striking match, Silva wins all day. And you've got to imagine that, well, you know, I don't even know anymore because Marvin Vettori, his path to victory was takedowns in wrestling, and
Then he stopped.
So he didn't even try for a takedown. So, I mean, if Silva wants to come out and try to strike with him, he's going to die. But Silva has been submitted 6 times out of his 8 losses. He obviously has very little submission defense. If Allen is smart and wants to move up, he has to play this smart. His corner needs to tell him, look, Silva's going to come with that huge hook, drop down, grab a single or a double, put him down, submit him. And that should be the game plan. I mean, it's a lot of Silva's strikes are kind of choreographed. I would like to say that they're watching that and keeping an eye on it. You know, they're ready for it, but who the fuck knows anymore? But I am on Allen. I do think that hopefully that he follows that game plan, gets it down, and finds a submission. Hard to say nowadays.
Yeah.
So both of us on Brendan Allen. Next up, we have David Onama and Gabriel Santos. We talked a bit about this one. I am on Santos ever so slightly. This is another fight where the odds are way too far. Onama is not bad enough to be, what is he, 6,900 with Santos
7K.
92, whatever the hell it is. Too much of a difference there. Both of these guys are good young prospects. Onama has a ton of power. I just think that Santos is going to be slightly better everywhere. And what did it for me, when you go back and watch a lot of his fights, he's really quick, and it's that lateral movement that he should be able to kind of tuck and roll in a way. I'm not sure that this fight gets we see a finish in this fight. I actually think that this goes to a decision, which is probably not going to be very popular. But I do. I think Santos wins a unanimous decision with power and volume.
This is one fight I was excited for. And then I realized I like both prospects. I thought Santos beat LaRon Murphy.
Yeah.
But
It's bad.
And then Onama, he had his good little early streak in the UFC. Ran into Mr. Landwehr, which I thought he put him out a couple times, but Landwehr woke up like the Undertaker. But then he got his shit dominated against Landwehr. So, and now I know Onama had his own little issues, you know, the whole James Krause camp, how the UFC's not letting that happen. So he transferred to Factory X. Still another good gym. So I know Factory X's first fight was with Landwehr. So we're going to see maybe with another full camp. To me, I think he's the better striker. He is longer. He throws harder. I think he definitely has more power. That's his striking scary. But like I said, I think Santos is more well-rounded. I thought he beat LaRon Murphy. You know, I'm an Onama guy, but I'm going Gabriel Santos just slightly because, like I said, more well-rounded. I think the overall extendment of Onama in strikes could get him caught with takedowns.
Yep.
And that's my one worry. So, yeah, I'm going to be on Santos. I don't know if I'm going to play this fight because I think this fight could go out longer and longer. Neither one of them have a quit. But would it shock me if Onama caught him if it was a pure striking match? No. But I'm just going with the more overall well-roundedness of Gabriel Santos.
Yep, I agree. So another one, if you're gonna play DFS, you probably go with the dog.
Yeah.
And for GPP, but Santos should win this fight. He probably wins it 9 out of 10 times. Next up, we have a very interesting fight. And I have been back and forth on this one quite a bit. We got Justin Tafa and Austin Lane, the ex-Jacksonville Jaguar. Yes, he was a football player.
Yep, defensive end.
Turned MMA fighter, and man, this dude is scary. I went and watched his fights, or at least the ones that I could find,
Austin Lane.
and he is quite terrifying, actually. He did lose to Greg Hardy back in 2018, but since that fight, he has improved so ridiculously much. It's really kind of laughable. And I at the beginning of the week I was on Justin Tafa. Justin Tafa is on I think it's two first round knockouts, but it was against Harry the Hurricane Hunsucker and Parker Porker. It's you're really not saying much. Shut up. Really not saying much there. And he before those two, he got his shit kicked in by Jared Bandera. Um, bring up Austin Lane, who is on quite a winning streak. I think it's six. Yeah, six fights.
Six
And
fight finish streak also.
5 of them have ended in the first round. The other one ended in fourth round. So the dude's got stamina.
Yep.
That's not something that I'm worried about. Yeah, like I said, he played football. Not worried about cardio.
No.
What I am worried about is when he walks forward, looking. He's going to blitz forward. That's what he's going to do. He's just a scary dude. He has a massive reach advantage. I think it was 6 inches, and he's just going to be overall bigger than Tafa. The only thing that worries me is when he walks forward is that counter coming from Tafa. I'm on Austin Lane. I actually do. I wasn't, like I said. I do think that he finds another first round knockout because Justin Tafa, in all seriousness, is really not that good of a fighter. He is no tie to Ivasa. This is a guy that lost Carlos Felipe and Jorgen De Castro. So I think Lane has a perfect debut fight. I think this is an excellent way for him to be welcomed into the UFC. They gave him a winnable fight. They gave him a really good knockout fight. He's got a performance bonus coming his way because I think Lane just knocks the shit out of him.
I didn't know where you're going to be on this fight originally, but yes, even before he got caught by Greg Hardy, he was actually touching up Greg Hardy in that fight. And then Greg Hardy just landed the Falco punch of all punches. But yeah, Lane, ever since that fight, he's been on a good roll. 6 fights in a row, winning, 6 fights finished also. The only way that he's gonna lose if he gets too aggressive and gets caught with a counter, which if Tafa, I give it to Tafa, if he does touch somebody with a mean counter, I think 9 out of 10 times you're going to sleep. But besides that, I don't think Tafa's all that good. He's really not.
No.
And Lane was one of my more confident dogs that I was planning on betting a good amount of money on. I think he's gonna finish him. Is also like, I think he might try to see what kind of flatness of range that Tafa's gonna try to use, but I think once Lane opens up with his kicks and finds his overhands, I think he's gonna catch him.
Yeah, fun fact, did you know that he was actually supposed to fight Junior Tafa before?
Yeah, the brother. No, yeah. I was like, Jesus, you're taking your brother's fights and you're about to get knocked out.
Either way, yeah, both of us going with Austin Lane. I do think that's one that you need to play in DFS, especially because Lane's the dog and he might completely just shatter the slate.
Yep.
Definitely possible for a 60-second KO. I don't think that it will be. I think it'll be later, somewhere around the 2-3 minute mark, but that'll still be 90 from 7,400. So possibly 100.
Yeah. Knockdown.
Any knockdown in the first round and knockout is automatically 100 points. So
yep.
Alrighty, next up we have Amanda Ribas and Macy Barber. I don't like this fight.
I don't either.
I love both of these fighters, but I hate that Macy keeps getting gifted fights. And I know that's what everybody is talking about because Macy Barber absolutely lost her last fight. I don't know why or how they gave it to her. That said, Amanda Ribas is 10 times the fighter that Barber is, at least right now. She is better. She's the better striker. She's more aggressive. She's got better takedowns. She's got better grappling. There's not a spot in this fight that Barber should win it. What I worry about is it going to the cards and she somehow gets gifted another win.
Yep.
She shouldn't. But I'm on Ribas. I think Ribas completely smashes her.
So I actually wrote that down in my notes. So Macy Barber's UFC record is actually 7-2, but I put also saying should have lost to both Andrea Lee and Miranda Maverick. So ideally, she's 5-4 in the UFC.
But she should have lost to Jessica I
know they get that unanimous to her though.
I know, and they shouldn't have. I
No.
controlled that whole fight. It was 8 minutes of control time, and
Yeah.
they somehow gave it to Barber.
But I think Ribas, the only thing I'll say is I think Barber has more crisp boxing, but Ribas' striking is developing a bit more. I think she's gonna have to get takedowns, which Barber does get taken down, even though she works with Team Alpha Male. All those good wrestlers, you still can't stop a takedown. But one thing I'll give to Barber, which I still say Barber is overrated. I've been saying it since she got into the UFC. She'll still fight in a fight, even if she's on her back or if she's getting control. She tries to fight, but I think Ribas is going to get a decision in this fight.
Yep, I agree. Last fight, and so we are going to go this whole card not having a single different pick because I know damn well that you are also on Topuria.
Wait, we don't have a single pick.
We don't have a single different pick.
Jesus Christ.
Everything was the same.
Yeah, I'll give you $20 if you pick Emmett.
Fuck that. I've been on Topuria forever. I ain't about to get off that train. I already said that he's gonna have the belt, so I'm gonna stand by it and I will continue to take him. Which kind of sucks because there's a fight that I don't want him to win, but that's all right.
Oh, you're talking about the Patty fight?
Huh?
Talking about if he ever fights Patty?
No. That's done. Patty's done. It's when he fights for the belt. Because he'll have one more fight after this, and then if he wins that, he'll be fighting for the belt. So, but that'll be later on down the road. There's not much really to say about this. Emmett's got power, kind of. People keep saying that he has power. I really don't think that he has.
He's a good wrestler. If you ever use it.
And he does have decent wrestling. That said, Topuria is ridiculous, and he continues to improve in every fight. It seems like the better the competition, the better that he gets, and he should absolutely dominate this fight everywhere, striking, wrestling, whatever it is. He is going to finish this fight, and I think he's the most expensive fighter on this card.
9,500, yeah.
I am absolutely willing to pay that in a 5-round fight.
Yep. So I'll tell you this. You said that he could get a finish on Emmett.
Yep.
You know what? You know how this fight wouldn't actually shock me how it plays out? Yes, Emmett.
The first round.
No. Emmett hasn't been KO'd since
2017.
But what I'm expecting, it wouldn't shock me if Josh Emmett's an actual punching dummy in this fight. Gets absolutely pieced up. I'm telling you, similar to what Max Holloway did to Calvin Kattar. I think it would not shock me if this went 5 rounds and Topuria absolutely pieced him up for a total of 5 rounds. And striking alone with those type of numbers, with his volume he has, he'll break the slate at 9,500.
Yep.
But I think any type of win method for him. I don't know if he's going to get the wrestling going, because I think he's just going to use his striking in this fight, honestly. Because Emmett, like I said, he does have wrestling in his background as his first credential, but Topuria's going to win this fight. If you want to get different and you don't think Topuria's going to do all that, go ahead, but I'm not getting away from his tag. I'm playing him on everything. He'll be in parlays. Besides that, there's no way in hell. I like Emmett too, but nah, I can't do that.
I've never been a fan of Emmett. I'm one of the people.
I've seen him fight live when he knocked out Michael Johnson. That was and he was getting his ass kicked, and then he threw that big old Falco punch knockout. But
I don't know. I don't know what it is. He just bothers me. I don't know. Well, anyways, both of us on Topuria. Like I said, we do not have a single.
I didn't expect that.
That's
originally
in 14 fights.
I'm not gonna lie. Originally, I know I was on Magny.
Mm-hmm. So was I. I told you.
I was originally gonna pick Onama.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's more what I watch, and then honestly, the biggest one, and like I said, I had this one. It loses, not gonna shock me. The very first fight, that was the one where I went yes, no, but because Burns' IQ sucks, his chin sucks. but I haven't wrestled since high school, and I could probably take down Dumas from what I saw from the first fight. But besides that, I think for the most part we can agree on fights.
Yep.
But I
So
wonder who's all going to be on Rodriguez. I know me and you are on him, and
there's not going to be a lot. Tyro's a really good fighter, and I think people need to understand how good and how technical he is as a fighter. And I mean, there's no doubt about it. You can't the one thing you can't do against Tyro is make a mistake because you're gonna suffer because of it. But Clayton is the more aggressive fighter, and I mean, we could see it end in the first round. Tyro's never lost, so
no.
but at the same time, he's also never really had his chin tested. I've watched 7 or 8 of his fights just to kind of to gauge where things are at, and there hasn't been a single fighter that's touched him. Not really, anyways. He has not been tested, and then he fights so much on the mat now, and just goes for arm bars or triangles, whatever it is. It's really hard to gauge where he is and striking against, especially against better fighters. So I really like Clayton. Let's see, Tapology they have. Yeah. Tapology votes Tyra's 94%. Rodriguez is
We're in the
6.
6%.
So that's pretty
That's
crazy.
ridiculous, but
Jack Jenkins is also a favorite at 60%.
that fight's depending on the styles. That
None of these other ones really surprised me too much. Phil Rose only 22%. I think that's a huge mistake.
but I can't remember the last time that Magny actually fought someone around his same height frame. And
Yeah, no kidding. And then 78% of people are on Justin Tafa. That's 78% of people that are going to be so disappointed.
yeah, and when I throw about $100 or $200 on Austin Lane by knockout, I'm gonna be
Like so,
crazy.
I get people's thinking. Lane he's coming in, making his debut. He hasn't really fought any huge names, but if you go and look at Tafa's record and all the shit that he's done, he hasn't fought anybody.
No.
I mean, the best fight on here is probably Vandera,
Yeah.
and he lost to him.
And I find funny about Tafa. I compare these two fighters, and unfortunately, they're from the same region. Tyson Pedro. He hasn't fought nobody, and look how I said Modasi was going to win that fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was
Outclassed him.
maybe not.
Outclassed him.
Yeah, easily.
Right.
So and Parker Porter, he would have won that fight had he not got caught with a counter. That's like I said, that's what I worry about with Lane is that counter. But he's got 6 inches to try. That's a lot.
Yeah.
In the ring. So I mean, Austin Lane is 6'6" with an 80-inch reach. Justin Tafa is 6 foot with 74. So I mean, it's 6 inches in size, 6 inches in reach, and Lane is going to be twice as fast as Tafa. One of the things that does worry me a little bit is the whole orthodox and the southpaw because Tafa is southpaw, so that's how he's able to counter so well. But if he can't reach him, it's not going to make a difference. So, yeah, I think people are going to fuck that up, but that's fine. More for us.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, that's my dog, and you can just stick with that too. Austin Lane can be the dog for both of us because I think we're both.
I've had him circled all week.
So, as far as locks go, I'm going with Trevor Peak at 8,200. I will continue to ride him until I feel that he's in danger of losing, and I don't think that's this fight. So yeah.
You got Trevor Peak. You got Country Boy from Tennessee. Mine honestly is going to be Rebecca. I think Rebecca's is going to be too much.
Yep. I agree. I agree. You said that you messaged me a little earlier saying that this could be a really high scoring card. And the more that I look at it, I absolutely agree. Because you look at Lane, that could be a first round knockout over 100. Rebecca could be anything over 100, any of the rounds. Peak should be easily over 100 because that should be a first round knockout. So you got 3 guys right there, and 2 of them are priced really low.
Yeah.
So it should be a really fun card. I'm looking forward to it. Next week, I remember looking at it. I think it's Strickland, isn't it?
Strickland and that one dude that had one fight, and then now they're giving him
Yeah.
Strickland.
Oh yeah, Strickland and Magomedov, Abbas
Even
Magomedov.
even though I do like Magomedov as a whole, but
I do too, but Strickland,
there's levels.
I'll continue to take Strickland against
I saw
all the
Strickland's a favorite. I saw that.
as he should be. Strickland, he's just a fun fighter. Overall, there's not a lot on this card that I like. We get to see Michael Morales fight again. I'm really looking forward to that, and he should absolutely knock out Max Griffin. Griffin is whatever. Melissa Gatto is back on this card. One of the Bonfin brothers is on. I can't wait to watch him fight.
Oh, that's the one that absolutely knocked McKinney's chin off his damn face.
Yeah, it's Ishmael Bonfim, so I'm really looking forward to him. We got Bruno Ferreira again.
Oh, that's my boy, Bruno.
Fakhretdinov, Kevin Lee's back on this card, which I'm kind of surprised that Fakhretdinov.
What?
Yeah, Kevin Lee comes back and he immediately gets
coming into the Wolves.
He gets a death trap, so
Jesus
it really sucks for him. And then Romanov is also he's going to be the opener for the card, and he gets a very winnable fight. And I think next week I think we're going to see Romanov get back to his winning ways.
Who the hell's Romanov fighting?
Ivanov or Ivov, whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, Ivanov, Blagoy Ivanov.
Are you talking about that slow guy that doesn't do shit?
36-year-old slow guy. Yeah,
the one that has like the knife thing in his chest.
I think so, something like that. Anyways, that's for next week. We should definitely get our video done for next week. We're gonna try not to skip too much, but life is busy. What's up?
Reminder: anyone that does DFS, this is an early card.
Starts at 11 Central. 11:30
in the East Coast.
Well, we appreciate you watching, and we will catch you next week. Peace out.